Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RPG Valkyries presenting RPGs we love. Next up, we have Final Fantasy I, the GBA Dawn of Souls remake, with Leggy Starscream, and she will be 15 puzzling and running her way through the game. For names, we have Stella, Boko, Mog, and Tonberry. Tonberry being Tonbry. With capital Ton, capital Bry.
Tonbry. I could probably just open that spreadsheet myself.
That's a little late for that.
Yeah. Mostly because it's like, I swear I heard the other two. You said them. Do I remember what they were? No,
Mog
it's a little late.
And Boko are the two red mages,
there
I guess.
Yeah.
Boko, Boko.
So wait, do we get access to the Moogle charm with this party?
You wish.
No, we get the
Although
Lupa
this
charm
game-
with this party.
This game kind of has a Moogle charm in that you quick save anywhere and then just like casually decide I don't want to fight that, reload your quick save, and skip the encounter.
Yep.
Although I guess we should
if you
introduce ourselves. We should.
All right, so
Yeah.
our runner is Leggy Starscream, and
Hi.
on commentary we have Demery and also she/her, who also runs this game in nearly every version, at least the GBA and PSP versions,
And the randomizer, and
and the randomizer with me the other night.
and I might learn NES one day.
Yeah, it's funny. I converted Demarine into running GBA as she converted me into running PSP.
Yep, and like you just bought me in PSP pretty recently, which is pretty good to see.
I mean, I gotta give you something to do.
I mean, I already have to catch you on this. I mean, I just broke 3 hours finally, so
Fair.
All right, feel free to start when you're ready.
Yeah. We're gonna be chilling here for a little bit. So no reason to not get started with a quick 3, 2, 1, go. Go. There we go.
first try.
First try every time. So the first thing I'm going to do is some quick equipment getting and a little bit of settings. We're going to get some weapons, a little bit of armor for everyone who isn't a white mage, and then the cure spell for everyone who is a mage.
Yep. He's also going to grab one other spell for just the white mage, which is Dia, I believe. Unless you don't grab that in the way that you route at this point to save a couple of seconds.
I usually don't do it. I haven't been finding it worth.
That's fair. I mean, later on it might be worthwhile, but Dia is a spell that does damage to all enemies, but only undead enemies. Oh, and she doesn't get the guard that walks in front of her, so she's going to save 3 seconds here.
Thank goodness. Unlike the NES version, remakes of this game lock you into Corneria Castle once you enter and force you to go through this cutscene where the king explains, the first bit of the plot.
Yep. So we've got to go and rescue a princess with our fencing foils and white mage who has no armor whatsoever. Nothing can go
But
wrong.
does have a hammer.
I mean, the hammer's mighty.
Yes.
Actually, the hammer does usually get us through the early game fairly efficiently. But first things first, so we're gonna be running from a bunch of encounters because they don't give enough experience to get us to level 2. Getting to level 2 is quite important because of actually being able to hit guard.
Yeah. And as it turns out, we need an encounter that will give us 15 experience to do that. like this one.
Which one did you get? Let's see.
Double Black Widows.
Oh, that's the best one, too, because you almost always get a preemptive also. This is really optimal. The extra bit of running before will be made up for pretty quickly here by, being able to take down these enemies. They only have about 30-ish hit points, so it's a good start for sure.
Mm-hmm. And since everyone leveled up and got a little more HP, I'm going to do a quick round of healing before we go to Garland. Normally I don't save in PB attempts, but, hashtag marathon luck and all.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost runs to Garland before when he takes out a character because you need this experience for your 2 red mages primarily, because your red mages need to be level 3 for the pirates.
Chad asks if the 4 extra dungeons are going to be cleared. Sadly, no. Mostly because I need to get sleep at some point tonight.
Yeah, and unlike PSP where we don't have access to the infinite high-powered equipment glitch, all dungeons for FF1 is admittedly nearly doubles the estimate on the run.
Oof. You remember how you were talking about Garland beating up a character?
Oof. Well, that's not good times. Are we going for emergency cures here? Yeah, we're going for... Look at those 4 rolls. Goodness me.
Yeah.
How in the ever-loving world are you getting by with these damage rolls today?
Okay, Garland's down. Thanks. And so we find the princess taking a nap in front of a shiny black orb, which I'm sure won't be relevant later.
I mean, it's just a shiny black orb. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, she's sitting in front of it. It probably just lights the room. It's fine.
Yeah. It's basically the Final Fantasy version of a lamp. And before I leave, I'm going to do the most important thing in the game. I'm going to talk to Sarah before I try to leave the room.
The most important time save in the run right here, because thankfully, unlike the NES version where you can not get the loot, which does absolutely nothing for 3 hours of this run, Sarah will pull you back and tell you, hey, I need to give you this so that you can rock.
And now, this is a 3-hour run on decent levels. 2.5-hour run if you're, going for world record. You do get this really, really nice break in the run. A cutscene, unskippable. I haven't bothered to actually sit down and time out exactly how long it is, but it's usually my Twitter break.
I have to... If I check my PSP splits and my GBA splits, I can tell you it's probably about 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Well, and it's 5 minutes into the run. So...
It's not even it's not even useful for a bathroom break, honestly.
Yeah.
Right, but we are about to head east. We are going to Provoca because we heard there's some pirates over there, but first we do need to get through some plot exposition.
As the 4 warriors of light, they felt overwhelmed by the great task destiny had placed before them. Can we cut back on that purple prose a little bit?
They did not even know the true significance of the 4 crystals, not orbs in this remake, they held in their hands.
And of course, if chat wants to do any donations, you should do them now, so that they get read before the end of the cutscene.
God. I just hate the start of this run because I'm running for PBs. The number of times I see this scene is just immense.
I know, right? God, could you imagine if PSP didn't let you skip cutscenes? So that's usually the first save I take in a PB attempt, right there after that cutscene, because sometimes these encounters can be a little mean, and if you get one of those early, you can still just reset out of it.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to sit through way too much cutscene.
Yeah,
So
particularly nasty are wolves. Wolves start showing up, and we hate them.
yes, we hates them. We hates them, precious. All right, that should do
Sorry to
it.
interrupt.
No worries. And now, time to beat up some pirates. Thanks to the levels we got earlier, our red mages get 2 hits with their swords, so they can one-shot pirates, while the fighter with a little less power has to tag up with the white mage to kill off individual ones. Yeah, this route does not go to the Peninsula of Power.
Yeah, 2 points of note here is that there is a statistic called hit percent in this game, which doesn't really necessarily talk about how well you can hit targets, but indicates how many attack rolls that you get. Every 32% is an attack roll. Red mages get less per level, but they also innately have more to start, so they hit certain breakpoints a little bit earlier in the early game, and then eventually in the end game, we'll see the fighter really sort of shining in that respect.
Mm-hmm. And so we get the ship, and now we come to the best part of this game. Demarine, I'll let you explain while I take care of it.
So first, chat, we do need to get some Bliss RNGs out in the chat for emergency exits, but we're about to play the greatest puzzle game of all time. That's right.
I didn't realize we were playing Tetris.
That's right, Puyo Puyo. I mean, the sliding block 15 puzzle. So Leggy's goal here is to finish this in a time, for the red mage route, between 30 and 60 seconds, a couple of times. We want to get certain items here because, well, we either need money, or, well, emergency exits, which will save us a ton of time a little bit later. The major items that we want, of course, are elixirs, because they're worth 1,000 gold apiece. And, of course, that is going to fuel our early game because we need to go and buy broadswords and we need to go and buy temper magic, broadswords will carry us through the next section of the game, and of course temper magic will carry us through literally everything.
Hey Demi, did you see that result?
I did. I hate you.
Care to explain?
So first roll was an emergency exit, which of course is fantastic because we will need that to get out of Earth Cave a little bit later. Speaking of world record holders, by the way, hi Nick.
Well, this one's going to be a trash fire, but that's okay. We got time for at least 1 or 2 more of these.
Oh, your estimate's 330. It's fine. You can foul this up a couple of more times.
Yeah, the real dream is that you get under 30 seconds and get a mega elixir, which sells for 2,000 gold, which is basically enough to fund your small army of bandits or light warriors, 50-50 odds either way.
Yeah, plus it really helps you just, get through that early game, because there's a fair bit of money management that goes into the run, and so being able to avoid that's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one more.
Also, did you get a blue curtain, too?
I think so, which I usually sell those because I don't think about using them, but
Yeah.
now that you mention it...
I think the one that you want is the White Curtain, which allows you to cast A-Ice, which is surprisingly useful at one point in the run.
I notice you're not naming it.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. We're not there yet.
So hold on to yourselves, chat. Ugh. This 15 puzzle run started off great, but yeah, I'm gonna call it at this point.
Emergency exit in tow.
Yeah. And I got the emergency exit, and we're gonna buy some tempers.
Yeah, the emergency exit's really the important part. An elixir would have been really nice there, but is not strictly necessary. Temper's a really nice spell, which just increases your attack power. It costs 10 MP, and we're going to cast it a ton.
So sadly, it casted Null Shock.
Now you might as well bin that garbage then.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to sell one broadsword because selling the ethers won't get me. If I sell the ethers, that's not enough to buy a second broadsword, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're going to stay at the end before we get out of here.
Yeah, because we want to top up our mana primarily, because we've leveled to level 4 at this point, so we need that MP back. The really tough thing here is that Leggy only got one broadsword, which it's going to sting a little bit in the early game, because broadswords are actually better than the sword that you can buy in our next town, Elfland, because you can only buy sabers there. Broadswords hit pretty hard, and they are our primary way of farming ogres, which is what kind of gets us to our next major breakpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Luckily, ogres drop just shy of 200 gil for every one we take out, so... I'm just going to take out this shark.
Yeah, and you can see the warrior now has 2 hits, and the broadsword just hits harder than rapiers do by a good margin.
Yeah, there is our level up. Do a little bit of healing down the line.
Oh god, you've got a red mage who's allergic to gaining hit points. This is not a good sign.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, all we have to do is get that mage through Lich. On the other hand, we got a poisoned fighter, which is a little spicy. But we can work with it.
Yeah, one of the bigger parts of runs is just making sure that we have hit points on characters for certain points in the game, and it's really nice to be above 160 for the Lich fight, but on red mages, it's really rare unless you like hard grind to like 16, which of course is not fast. So we take some risks.
Oh boy, that's gonna be a reset. 6 wolves and an ambush from 6 wolves is not something I want to deal with, like ever. But especially not when I don't have the tools to like take them out.
Yeah, you can one-shot wolves. Running away from them is awful, but with 6 of them, they're fast. You have to sit through all the attack animations, and on an ambush, you'll have to sit through 6 more. It is not worth it.
Yeah. And while we're on the subject, they just don't give good enough XP and gil to be worth. Yeah. Normally, I would if I had a little more money, I would say I'm good enough on experience, but since cash is a concern, I'm gonna just grind on things around here until I hit level 7.
Yeah, this is one of those undead packs that you occasionally run into out here that Dia is handy for, but, doesn't always come up in the run, so, makes sense.
Yeah. And then, once you get out of Marsh Cave, you're getting Diara anyway, so...
Yeah, the other major level breakpoints that we're trying to hit are going to be for caster spells. Unlike the NES version where you could buy a spell before you can use it, here you need to hit certain level breakpoints before you can access magic. For level 2 magic for red mages, that's level 8. Or it is 9, excuse me. It's 8 for the white mage and 9 for the red mage.
Mm-hmm. Which means that the upcoming boss fights are going to be critical for our leveling.
Yep, these encounters are okay for experience, but realistically, what we're trying to do is build up a little bit of a nest egg for supplies because we want a little bit more armor for a fighter. We obviously need we need antidotes because things out here finally have poison, and we're probably
at
gonna
least
want a couple
one.
of tents.
And I think at this point, I'm just going to call it. Yeah, the other big thing we get is a little extra armor for the fight. So we get an iron shield and the helm, which just give that fighter that little extra bit of defense. I'm going to get 3 tents. I'm going to get 5 antidotes, seems good. And then a handful of potions. Use one of those antidotes now. And since I have those extra ethers, I'm going to pump one into that white mage. And we're off to everyone's favorite cave. Sky Cave.
I'm gonna politely disagree with you on that one. I don't like any of the caves in this game.
I like Sky Cave.
Admittedly, Volcano Cave is pretty good.
Normally Sea Cave's okay, but I'm sure you're a little salty about that one still.
Only a little, though.
Sorry to bring that up.
It was an aggressive. It was an aggressive play to try and steal a win that I absolutely did not deserve. But yeah, we're going to pick up a couple of encounters along the way. We're trying to be a little bit selective. It's, basically it's going to be ogres and 1 to 2 gigaswarms for money and a decent amount of experience points. Basically, we hate spiders. We don't want to see them. We hate wolves. We don't want to see them. We hate the undead. They're worth a lot of experience, but they also have the paralysis attack, which is very, very bad because they can lock out your party from being able to take actions. So we don't want to see them either.
We got away from the wolves. Thank goodness.
You're getting preemptives on tarantulas, which are great because preemptives are the only way to guarantee run chance, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. And right before I go into the worst cave, because we might not have favorite caves, but we all have least favorite ones.
But this isn't Ice Cave.
You mean I Cave?
Yeah, actually, outside of the randomizer, we love Ice Cave. It's weird.
You haven't like sat down to step route necessary to even step into Ice Cave in vanilla NES.
Okay,
Which
then maybe
involves still fighting some cockatrices because you can't manipulate everything.
all right, so on the other hand, we managed to get a broadsword down here in Marsh, which we'll throw on the slightly more healthy red mage for now.
Yep, been taking advantage of that ability to save everywhere. The spider ambush is a big waste of time because of the chance of getting poisoned, which would add menuing on top of waiting, on top of running, so we're not into that.
Fine, if these gargoyles are going to be jerks about letting me run, I'm just going to take them out. There we go. So we've been doing a lot of equipping and prepping and just getting ready for what awaits us down here in the 3rd floor of Marsh Cave.
Is it good?
I mean, the cottage is nice.
And we get a Phoenix,
The Phoenix
down.
down is nice.
Yeah, no, we're going to crack 3 chests open down here. 2 of them are for consumables. Phoenix down, of course, letting you raise a party member from the dead. We actually get those in this game, unlike NES.
I know, right?
Right, we're gonna run.
The cottage, which is a full restore on the overworld, but more importantly is worth 1,000 gil if I sell it.
And cash is tight right now. These light warriors are pretty broke.
And let's try for the triple Pisco.
Pisco demons always get a save beforehand because A, we're not fighting for. They on our level 7 party, they hit like absolute tractor trailers. And we need to temper up our fighters so that our fighter can one-shot them before characters start dying horrifically in combat.
I think we're making it.
This is fine. Everything is fine.
One of the red mages goes down.
You hate to see that happen.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. We can still recover. Let's see here. We can either take this and keep going, which I think is what I'm going to do. And then we just need good luck from Astos, and that never ends badly.
Yeah. That never ends badly. Like, we absolutely cannot have Boko dead during the Astos fight. Then it's completely unrecoverable and way faster to reset. Mog dying would also be pretty bad, but we got 3 Pisca demons, so they might be close to gaining a level, which means we might be able to recover it with grinding out, but still.
Yeah. Demarine, no beating up chat.
It's not chat, it's invenerable.
Harsh but fair. Ugh. Yeah, no. So I ran into everyone's least favorite land lobsters.
Ah, good old land lobsters. We love them.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpions also hit quite hard. They're one of the enemies that have multiple hits, which means that their damage capability is pretty random, but on the high end is very, very high.
Yeah. Well, pop another antidote. As the red mages get stunned, the rest of the party manages to run away. Yes, the FF1 rando race earlier in the marathon definitely showed why you don't mess with lobsters. Isn't that right, Demarine?
I will never not be Team Lobster.
Yeah, because if you aren't Team Lobster, they'll heck you. Excuse my language. And at this point, we have made it to the Northwest Castle, where the kindly old king is looking for his crown. So let's go return it to him, as good adventurers should. There's no way this could go badly, unless the kindly old king is actually Astos.
Wait, do you mean Astos, King of the Dark Elves?
Yes! Who is now the true elf king that he has this random crown I found in a cave? Question mark.
It's only slightly better than determining your king via sword taken from a lady in the middle.
True facts. Also, we've got a good Astos fight today. The death spell missed.
Oddly enough, it would have been a better Astos fight if the white mage died because of experience, but, it's just fine that she's alive too.
Yeah. And next round should take care of this. Astos is just going to spend a turn buffing, and then the fighter goes before the buffs.
Yeah,
Game.
Astos has around 400 hit points, but the game likes to mess with us on turn order, and this is one of those circumstances because Pyra is probably going to kill both and Mog, and that's a reset.
That was going so well, too.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. You're really hoping for Astos to melee once, because it is a 4-turn fight usually. And since Pyra's the 4th spell, you so rarely see it.
So, I'll be honest, and I know this is the meme, but that has never happened to me before.
Interestingly enough, that has never happened to me either. But hey, marathon luck.
I know, right? Also, I got to say that's never happened before in a marathon run. That's so good. And there's a death, so that's a reset.
Right. The reason that the party is arranged in this particular order is that, much like in the original Final Fantasy for the NES, your chances of being targeted are higher the higher up you are in the party listing. The white mage is in front because you desperately want that white mage to have death cast on her because she's already level 8. She does not need any more experience right this second. I mean, later she'll need a ton, but right now, she's exactly where you want her. And you want the fighter at the bottom, because if the fighter gets death, well, your DPS is basically 0, and you're going to die this fight as well. The problem is that you also need experience on the red mages, so we're hoping for this again, which is death on the white mage on turn 1. This time she dies, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, fighter gets an attack. Ooh, the slow ra on the fighter. That's unfortunate. Recoverable, but unfortunate.
Yeah, have it slow road reduces the number of hits that your characters deliver. So landing it on the fighter means that one hit means just doing half damage. So this is starting to get a little bit dicey all of it.
Yeah. Here comes the Fyra. Not even gonna bother.
All right,
And,
Astos.
And this is honestly some of the worst Astos luck I've had.
Yeah, if Astos melees just once, it's usually just fine.
Yeah. And I don't think I've seen an Astos melee tonight, so...
Nope, we've had 9 turns of Astos and 9 spells from Astos. Turn 10 is going to be very much no different here.
Yeah. White Mage lives this time.
I was going to mention, Leggy, that you're not on the East Coast, so I was hoping that you would avoid the Final Fantasy After Midnight curse, but that is not happening.
Okay, this one should do it.
Yeah, we've
We
got
got
good.
enough buffs on.
Yeah, and it's only turn 3. We're actually doing good damage.
And there's the melee from Astos. The last thing he'll ever do. And we have the Crystal Eye. Oh, hey. We got appropriate levels, so that's good at least.
Yep. So levels working out pretty well here, which is at least good on that front.
I'm
I'll put the
going
fighter
to throw down a tent, just because that ate a lot of the MP from the red mages. Save again, and we're back off down. Hello, Moneybags. We're off back down to Elfland, where we're going to pick up a few things real fast. Specifically Lit 2. Lit 2 is one of the first AoE offensive spells we can get in the game. And since we're going to be sailing across the ocean for a little bit, it's a bit more worth it for us than Fire 2. Because it will fry those evil fishes.
Yeah, Sahagin are basically wolves of the sea. They're hard to run from, so we just get to see a lot of melee attacks while we don't run away. It's pretty awful.
Mm-hmm. And I also am like 75% sure that it has a faster animation than Fire 2. I haven't actually sat down and timed it, but
maybe that's things for us to do later.
yeah. Either way, even if they wind up being about the same, it's definitely the spell of choice here. And level 3 magic costs 1,000 per spell. We're sitting pretty at 3,900. So we're just going to buy those 2 spells and come back for the white magic afterwards.
Yep, we are going to want 2 copies of Lightning 2, or Thundara as it is in this game. We want 2 copies of Fyra, 1 copy of Kira for the White Mage, 1 copy of Diara for the White Mage, and if for some odd reason we have extra money, which literally never happens unless we get to sell a Mega Elixir early on, we could probably pick up Kira on one of the Red Mages as well, but that's less strictly necessary.
Yeah, that is if you are, literally rolling in money, which...
Our Light Warriors are destitute.
Yeah. Picking up Kira on a red mage is an extravagance. Well,
Well,
I gave you a chance if you let me run. But I guess we can't do it the easy way, can we, game?
so how do we run away from an encounter on the deck of our ship? Why is there a shark on the deck of our ship?
Why is the shark floating above the deck of our ship? Chat,
Is it...
if you have answers to these lore questions and more,
One
I'd
of
love
those
to hear them.
situations where the graphics in the NES make more sense. Where it's just like kind of a sea background, and it's like, okay, there's a shark in the sea.
Yeah, but what do you do? Like throw your sabers at it? Like, it's in the ocean.
No, it's just like Naruto says, you channel your chi into your feet, and
I mean, mostly you just like throw lightning at it.
at this point, yes.
You can't just go and electrocute all of your problems.
Says you.
But if they're sharks,
I mean,
No,
yeah, I
fleeing is
guess...
simple. You ask the shark and the Sahagin to politely to leave. Works every time. Like, have we considered just being kind and polite to our enemies?
If this philosophy works for you, Team Friend Mech is recruiting.
Team Friendvec, the only robot powered by the twin cannons of love and support.
I love anything that involves support, so I'm into this. But more importantly, on plot purposes here, so we've gone and we have turned in, we have given the Crystal Eye, which is basically just a really nice contact lens that we got from Astos to Matoya so she can see again, and she gives us an energy drink for some odd reason.
And now we see why we picked up the Thundara. It's because Big Eyes can just targeted stun people. And hey, free potion.
Right. Apparently, the Elf Prince has had a problem oversleeping. So we're going to force feed the Elven Prince the Jolt Tonic, so the energy drink, and now the Prince will be awake forever.
Well, I mean, that's about as long as the elf lifespan is.
And in thanks, he gives you the family heirloom, the Mystic Key,
Which we immediately use to raid the castle treasury. Because we're adventurers.
Yeah, and as much as we'd like to equip the Mithril Hammer for a DPS increase on our White Mage, it's worth a ton of money!
Also, if you're DPSing with the White Mage, I think something's gone horribly wrong.
I mean, it's worth 1,000 gold at this point. That's like one level 2 spell, or one level 3 spell we need. Also, that magic shop is the most embarrassing way I've ever lost a run. Just make sure you buy the right spells, people. Don't buy Fokara. You don't want it. All right, and we're gonna shake the remainder of our gold out of our boots, buy some more tents and some more antidotes so we have supplies, and we're gonna head due north and use that key to raid some more armories. All right, so Leggy's Discord is having some minor technical difficulties, but we are going to. We're actually going to take a bit of a safety before we head up to Corneria. We are going to do our first grind of the game, and we're going to grind to probably level. I mean, I'd like to ask Leggy this because normally it's 12 in the notes, but we're going to go kill some mummies for money and for some experience safety here, just to make sure that we don't have a bad time in Earthcave, I guess is the best way to put it. Basically, we need a bunch of levels to get us through Earthcave, because Earthcave is monstrously, incredibly, terribly dangerous. And so, on PB runs, I know Leggy does not go to Northwest Castle here to grind, but in this particular instance, it is a marathon, so we're going to use up a little bit of their estimate time and get some marathon safety here. And of course, I'm not going to be able to carry things for the next few minutes. So, Syl, what's going on your...
Well, we're here to support the RPG Valkyries and help raise funds for us to get to RPG Limit Break. Myself and Sparkover will be running Dragon Warrior Randomizer at RPG Limit Break. So that's one thing among many that this money will be going towards. Also, being a bunch of RPG lovers, it is kind of our one time a year that we really get a chance to meet each other in real life. And it also, RPG Limit Break supports a great cause of NAMI Alliance, and you know, that's kind of a very personal charity to me, and NAMI has helped my family and myself in the past. So we really appreciate all the support. And thank you, Zandra Vandra, for the raid. Hello, hello.
Yep, you've gotten here for one of the, honestly, slightly less interesting portions of the run, but a very necessary part of the run for run safety. We're here in Northwest Castle. We raided the armory, which will net us about another the power staff sells for about 6,000 gold, so this net us about a total of 8,000 gold, which is super useful. But we're also going to kill mummies, which are worth a ton of gold, and more importantly, the experience we need to get to level 12. But yeah, if you're at RPG Limit Break, of course, you're going to want to meet the Valkyries, because they're all fantastic. If you're not going to be at RPG Limit Break, you know, everyone would greatly appreciate the opportunity again to go there and support the RPG speedrunning community, which is just a fantastic community as a whole. So we would love to have everybody there. And we are putting our Fyra and Diara to good use here because mummies are undead. We have a preference at this point to hopefully get large packs of mummies because we're AoEing them down. So it's mana efficient if we get groups of 4 and 5. But, at this point, we're going to take what the game gives us. You'll notice that they're also pretty melee resistant. The fighter's hitting for about 7. So we really need the magic to take these down.
Got it.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. Yeah, my phone decided to do a reset, and I'm back now. How y'all doing?
Should I get you up to date on what's happened in the run since you've been gone?
Yeah, sure. I'd love a refresher. I haven't been paying attention.
So we're here to grind for some marathon safety and get a ton of extra money here by getting the power staff and the gold chest here. But we're grinding mummies with our mages to get a bunch of extra experience points because we need it. This part's not super exciting, but it is super necessary for us to make continued progress in the game. So We're going to do our thing.
With Astos fights like that, I kind of want to play it safe.
And we got a big raid from Xandra because she's awesome. We talked about Nami, which is a great cause, which people should donate for, which would be fantastic. And now we're headed back to Elfland and our ship.
Yeah. Shout out to Xandra, who is in fact an amazing person.
And as you can see, the extra levels are super helpful here because, we are making some progress on the fighter damage now. The Tonberry is now hitting the ogres for about 100 damage with that third hit because of all these extra levels, which means that fights will definitely go a lot more smoothly as we go along.
Yeah, and when we get back to Elfland, we'll be able to turn all this extra grinding into extra consumables for the most part. That will just make the next bit of the run super safe. Normally when I'm doing PB attempts, I maybe have like 1 or 2 soft potions, and that makes anything that can petrify me super scary because it might take out half to all of my resources in that camp.
I mean, you know how many gold needles I bought on my PB my PB run.
I'm assuming with an opener like that, the answer is 0.
Yeah, you can really roll the dice on this run on consumables. You can really run super thin when you're trying to push for PBs. Like, you can buy, literally the minimum number of tents that you need. You can plot out, how many antidotes you expect to use and everything. We're going to play it safe, though. The power staff sells for $6,000, and so we're gonna bulk up a little bit on the old item pouch here.
Yeah. I'm going to leave a little extra gil in the pocket because you'll notice that there is one item in particular that Elfland does not sell, Phoenix Downs. And luckily, the town we're off to next does. And of course, the town after that doesn't have an item shop at all, but, well, we'll take care of that problem soon enough.
We're going to open up an item shop, start importing goods, and begin helping the town.
Yeah. Shout-outs to switching over. This is now a Reciteer stream.
Oh, I thought we were speedrunning Moonlighter. That's fine, though, I guess.
Fair.
But yes, in all seriousness, this is not turning into a shopkeeping simulation. We're gonna help a town a little bit more directly with violence.
We're adventurers. That's what we do.
Right, so continuing the plot, though, we've got this key from the Elf King, so we're going to use it to steal from everybody. This time we're going to steal explosives from Cornelia, and we're going to use those in a minute. Or we're gonna make a dwarf use them for us, I guess.
Well, the dwarf was looking for them, and as it turns out, yeah, that should be enough. That this is the only place in the world that has TNT. Cornelia, locked up in their, I guess, treasury. Makes you wonder why that bridge was out earlier.
It was science. They did it for science.
You monster. So in the Dawn of Souls pack, there are 2 games. And before you ask which ones, shockingly, they are Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2.
Final Fantasy 1, of course, being this wondrous piece of history that we have in front of us right now. Final Fantasy 2 being a spectacular speedrun and a really bumpy game to play at.
So a fascinating look at an attempt at interesting RPG mechanic design.
And Nikki Noel, who is one of the RPG Valkyries, speedruns both of the games at a very, very high level. She's a joy to watch. So.
That she is. She's actually the world record holder on this one. She's on...
Yeah, I think she's the only runner to sub 230 at this point, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right to me. Well, I mean, I've got a bit of a cutscene, so I can actually pull up that leaderboard. That would be accurate. At least on the speedrun.com leaderboard, the only other person to get a 230X is also in chat. Shoutouts to Toku Hero.
Yep, and I know that on my PB attempts, I'll have Leonis pop in because I run in the early afternoons now. So I know I've seen Leonis hanging around to chat with too. Oddly enough, for a community that is not very together, I mean, I still need to probably join the Discord, honestly. Everybody who speedruns Final Fantasy 1 in any flavor is just super, super helpful because we all want to see each other succeed. It's just a fantastic game to speedrun.
Yeah, I only just recently joined both the general Final Fantasy 1 speedrunning and also the general Final Fantasy broadly speedrunning discords. And I've seen nothing but good things. And at last, the town of Melmond.
Where everything is fine.
Sorry? Yeah. We are going to sell off I don't think we need to sell off anything. We're just going to buy a silver armlet. Equip up everyone. And then wander on out. When money's a little tighter, I normally sell off that worm killer because that sells for 4,000 gold, which conveniently will buy you a silver armlet. So hey, our white mage actually has armor now. Isn't that something?
On the flip side of the coin, of course, selling the worm killer does reduce your damage output a little bit through this stretch of the game. So it is, there's always a bit of a give and a take there.
Yeah. We do pick up the coral sword inside the earth cave, which has the exact same stats as the worm killer. However, having the second weapon on one of the red mages definitely helps.
And more importantly, the coral sword looks cool.
True facts.
Right, but if you talk to the people of Melmond, you'd find out that Melmond was ruined by the roving undead from the Cave of the Earth due to the south, so now we're going to enter the actual worst cave in the game after popping a tent.
Yeah. So I've heard rumors and tales that there's a vampire down in the Earth Cave, and that's the cause of all the blight.
Vampires aren't real. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure we won't find anything down here.
I mean, we found a couple of cave snakes, which, gotta watch out for those danger noodles.
Yep, ogre chiefs are good to see here because they're pretty easy to run away from. If we find minotaurs or trolls, I believe you kill those, correct?
Yes. We could also kill these gargoyles with Thundaras, especially because we've got the fast way out of here. But with the preemptive, it's usually just faster to run from anything.
Yep, plus they don't give out, the reason that, we want to see trolls and minotaurs is not because they're friendly, they hit, tractor trailers also, but they're worth a lot of golden experience for this point in the game, which we desperately need at this point. The grind to getting level 12 in Northwest Castle gets us to the point where we're safe-ish for this part of the run, but coming up, we've got the first of the 4 elemental fiends. Unsurprisingly, like many other Final Fantasy games, there are elemental fiends. Everybody, please be surprised in chat.
Well, no, they explained that on the title scroll.
Right. That's actually not a surprise. I'm sorry.
Chat's surprised anyway. And, the reason we were grinding on mummies is because they're also good golden XP. So when we find them down here, we might as well just heck them up.
But again, we only want the big groups. They're worth 75 experience apiece, so we want to, again, spend our resources efficiently. Because, we've got a few ethers at this point, but, we need to kind of hang on tight to what we've got in terms of resources.
I mean, the real answer is that I'm not super worried about spending resources on this particular part of the dive. Because we're coming up on... Well... They say there's a vampire down here. I don't believe them. But if I were a vampire, I'd probably hide in this room right here.
Yeah, and I'd probably keep a treasure chest with my entire life savings behind me.
I'd also be a bat that I talk to. Shoutouts to people in my streams who keep telling me to talk to bats. Look, I just did. Yeah, so here's the vampire. We like to joke about the vampire not being a thing because in the randomizer, Vampire gets curb stomped a lot.
In randomizer, we also come down here usually at like level 22 or something and just are racing through the place at high speed because, you know.
Or we have level 1 nuke anyway, so it's not even a thing.
I mean, in PSP, we have, of course, at this point in time already made Barbarian Swords, and we just absolutely crush Vampire with one. But nope, we've got to do this the honest way. That's right, with a lot of magic. And we get the Vampire's life.
Yeah, which is a ruby. And here's why we did that emergency exit. Because Earthgave is terrible, and we don't want to walk any more of the floors than we already have to. So let's just, teleport out.
It's the original required double dip dungeon.
What are you talking about? We killed the Fiend of the Earth, the vampire.
Yeah, we're good. We're fine. We can move on, right?
Yeah, now we're going to give the ruby to the Titan and report our success to Sarda the Sage, who will, tell us what a great job we did and probably, let us retire as heroes.
Yeah, he's going to shower us in wealth, and then the run will be over. I know the estimate's 330, but I'm sure we're done. We're good. We did it.
Well, I mean, we had some bad Astos luck, but, people were talking about doing those bonus dungeons. We got, with an estimate like that, I think we've got plenty of time to do them.
But you haven't even unlocked any of them. You have to do something special to unlock them?
Well, yeah. We'll get to that in a second. But first, we need to feed the Titan, who walks off into the wall of the cave, ?
He's a Titan, don't question it. He's just going to sleep after you fed him.
Fair. Well, at least he isn't destroying the town of Mist this time.
Too soon. Again, we have this sort of love-hate. Experience with the Ghoul Gas pack here because it is actually worth a pretty solid experience for what we're about to put into it.
Yeah, I just got a level off it. So here is Sarda the Sage. Oh no, the vampire was only a servant, and I need the Earth Rod to go back in. I'm stunned at this development.
Take my walking stick.
Also, shoutouts to the gold vampire split I got.
Yeah, you did all your grinding outside of Earth Cave, and so I guess you get a gold split there.
This game.
I actually have to remember that when I run, that I'm running against a mummy ground gold split there, and so whenever I miss that split by like 3 minutes, I need to not get frustrated.
Yeah. Let's just beat those up. A little bit of sweet extra experience. I'm probably going to start dumping a little more magic into things because I know that I'm going to 10 to up before I go back into the Earth Cave. So I might as well try and convert as much mana into experience as I can.
Yep. Normally these are not things that will fight, but
I don't want to get Blizzard.
You won't get Blizzard. It will be fine. It is after midnight on the East Coast, though, so...
Maybe I got all of my bad luck out on Astos? Shrug?
So, I think I have a running theory about the RPG Valkyries and running Final Fantasy I, in that You are allowed to run Final Fantasy I as long as it's not between the hours of midnight and sunrise on the east coast of the United States. Every run of Final Fantasy I that I have seen on this channel that has happened before that time has been great. Has been smooth, has been a great show of how to play the game. People put up good times, it's entertaining. Once midnight rolls around, something goes wrong.
I mean,
Zonirath forgets to safety save at Temple of Fiends. I die in all sorts of places. Leggy gets obliterated by Astos tonight. I don't know.
that said, Demarine,
Lobsters.
you did. I was going to say, you did put what adjective in there. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty entertained.
Oh yeah, no. Even though runs are going, even when runs go wrong, Final Fantasy I is super entertaining. It's just, the rate of success is so-so.
Fair.
But yeah, second dive of Earth Cave, much like the first dive of the Earth Cave, but with usually like an extra level under your belt. We're going to be, again, a little bit selective with encounters, because we don't want to fight an awful lot of stuff that's not worth a boatload of experience points. We're trying to push out at least level 14 for Lich. 15 is safer, but sometimes you don't get that luxury on the way.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, at this point, I'm not really counting levels. I'm just more looking at the HP totals on my party. And the red mages are doing okay, but a bit spicy. Oof. You shitting. So, how's the stream looking on your end?
We trying to get it back.
Okay. Yeah, it was my end. I apologize.
Okay.
I've been having weird internet connectivity issues. But it should be back. In the meantime, welcome to the Final Fantasy I radio play.
Starring our runner, Leggy Starscream.
Yeah, I should be back. Since we last saw our intrepid heroes, they were diving through the 3rd floor of Earth Cave, picking up a chest I forgot to grab on the way up, and which contains 3,400 gold. A lot more important when you don't grind mummies earlier.
But still,
And
that's like a week's pay in Cornelia, so...
Yeah. And resetting out of undead ambushes.
Yeah,
especially when there's 8 of them.
Yeah, which would probably paralyze lock the party, so might as well just reset now and save them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that Leggy will be doing an awful lot of is saving her game. We save and reset an awful lot in Final Fantasy I.
Yes. Because you can save anywhere, so you might as well save and not deal with getting stunned. Like I just did. Me, a fool. That said, I'm gonna say it, and it's gonna curse me, but I have yet to see any Pisco demons here in this Earth Cave. Pisco demons are a particularly fun encounter because if you recall them from Marsh Cave, there's no running away from them. They're reusing the exact same encounter here in the Earth Cave, which means you still can't run away from them.
And even with all the shiny new armor and levels that we have, they still go through you. They still go through your armor pretty quickly, so we don't want to mess with them.
That said, on the other side of the coin, we have Thundara, which cuts through them about as hard as they cut through us.
The only nice thing about the undead is that these undead packs are fairly low on health, so we can take them down with one Pyra, which is super helpful.
Mm-hmm. And here's those trolls that Demarine mentioned earlier as value. Oof. There goes Red Mage. Luckily, that's why I bought those extra Phoenix Downs.
And it's fine. Boko's at 154 hit points. She's doing just fine.
Yeah. Now, there's a reason I tend to aggressively save scum across this particular floor.
Don't worry, DJ Conquerors. The only thing that we're going to be feeding the trolls tonight is hardened steel.
And occasional fire.
And later on, an occasional fire.
Yeah. Alright, floor 5. How Earth Cave is structured is that floors 3 and 4 have significantly more terrifying stuff on them than the other 3 floors of this cave. So I can take a breath now.
So is there anything that you want to ask the chat for before we progress forward?
I mean, yeah, if you want to get your Bless RNGs out, that would be incredibly useful. You're not going to see a robot. However, you're probably also not going to see a party wipe if we get enough of them. Those of you who are familiar with the randomizer, Lich is a bit of a pushover in that. That's not true here.
Yep, we absolutely need your energy because all we want Lich to do is melee a white mage. That's all we need today. Is just for Lich to take a couple of swings at our white mage, and we'll be very...
Reset 1.
You'll notice that Blizzara hits for about 160 hit points on the group. Our red mages who are casting Temper, which is, the only way that we can realistically break through Lich's... How much health does Lich have here? About 1,000-ish? 1,500?
Give me a hot second, and I will look at my notes.
I got my notes, hang on.
Yeah, it is 1,200.
1,200 hit points, right? You'll notice that that first swing was for 20-some. So we need to get a bunch of tempers up on the fighter here to make hay here. Lich eats PB runs for breakfast. It's Toku here on chat, of course, has that number on demand, which is, of course, pretty fantastic.
Okay, a red mage survived the Blizzara, so we're gonna keep
You're
going.
a couple seconds ahead, by the way, so... Spoiler.
With my powers of seeing the future from the time loop.
Leggy, they don't know about that part.
I think it's fine. I'm just desynced.
As you can see now, the fighter is now pushing out 300 damage a swing, and Lich is done casting spells. Thankfully, it looks like. So we are now in the driver's seat a little.
Yeah. And my white mage is doing what white mages do best, which is... Oh, there's... Lich is down.
So wait, so our white mage is screaming, panicking, waving her arms in the air above her head, and praying that people don't stand and fight.
Yes.
Or in the ice, as the case may be.
Yeah. They draw the circles on the ground while you why are you still standing there?
One reset's not bad, though, all things considered.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really happy with that Lich overall.
Yeah, like you can go into Lich with like your red mages at like 125 hit points because they're just not getting the upgraded hit point rolls on level ups, and you are just praying that you get off 4 tempers before the Blizzara goes off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's use the Phoenix Downs. Save our game and immediately get ambushed by zombies.
And immediately reload our game. So, Leggy, I think now is probably the time that you should talk about the little bit of route divergence that happens at this point between some runners.
I mean, you mean you and me?
I mean, we could be talking about Forsyth and Tokuhiro for what it's worth, but yes.
True. So at this point, the next thing we need to do is sail to the town of Crescent Lake, where the Circle of Sages, who are in place for a change, if you've been playing the randomizer, they can wander around now. It's great. And they have a canoe for us. That canoe unlocks a couple of doors. First and foremost, the plot progression is the volcano, where the Fiend of Fire, Carrie, or Marlith in these new versions, where they have more room to write out enemy names, where she lurks, and where we can light another orb. The other normal place it unlocks for us, or at least the next expected location, is the Ice Cave, which is also known as the Not Nice Cave, up until you get down into its dark depths. And we'll get into that once we get into there. The final place it unlocks, and where I go next, is up to the Castle of Ordeals, where the developers put a little bit of a river. And one of the nice things about this game is that if you have a canoe, you can just ship off of your ship into a river. So all river mouths are essentially ports for us once we get that canoe. For those of you familiar with, say, the PSP route, that goes to Ice Cave first and does its grinding there. But we're going to go up to Ordeals for a couple of reasons. And then I need some more Phoenix down.
Also, we're gonna buy an absolute ton of ethers right now because we're gonna fuel the rest of the run with the power of magic refills.
Mm-hmm. Because if you have basically unlimited magical power, why not go for it? Okay, so that. We're also going to get a little bit of armor upgrade, because it's here. We got the money for it. Why the heck not? Say hi to the only time you'll see those magic shops.
Yep. Small time save to not buy Thundaga in the end game. But I think we found that we really don't use it, so we're not going to buy it.
Yeah. I think there's some encounters where it's nice to have, but what with the Gauntlet, also known as the Zeus Gauntlet in earlier games, that we'll be getting here shortly, we've got 3 people casting Thundara, essentially.
Also, a lot of the encounters that we use Thundaga on, once we get to those encounters, we can usually just, with this particular party layout, we can just fight through them. Black Belt route really wants the Thundaga because we need the extra spell power on that route, but we're not on that route today. We're on the fighter double red white route, so Thundaga doesn't always come into.
Yeah, shoutouts to my desperate inability to do the 15 puzzle faster than 30 seconds.
I mean, shoutouts to my inability to do that 13 puzzle faster than like 45 seconds. So, the reason that the route goes to Ordeals here is that Ordeals has 3 items that we really want other than the Rat Tail, which we need to get to class change later, but there are 3 items that we want in there. There's an Ice Sword, which is, a pretty big sword upgrade compared to our Worm Killer and our Coral Sword. It does a lot of damage. There is a Ruby Armlet there.
Which, if you're familiar with older versions of this game, is the gold bracelet.
And
that's good.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, that basically, what with the HP upgrades our White Mage has been getting and that Ruby Armlet, makes them enough of an off-tank that we can put them up in the front row.
Yep. Or if
not
you're
the
like
front row, the second row.
Yeah, or if you're like me and you're a coward, you don't put your White Mage up there anyway and just give them the Ruby Armlet anyhow. I mean,
you just don't want the White Mage to get hurt. I understand how that goes.
Right. And of course, the third thing that we're going to get in here is, as Leggy had mentioned earlier, we're going to also get the Gauntlets, which when we use it in combat, will basically give our White Mage.
Yeah. And it's especially nice in places like Sea Shrine.
And of course, the first encounter we get in here are Minotaur zombies, which we're going to kill. They are unrunnable. But, again, they're also a pretty good source of experience and money. So we're not too unhappy to see them.
Yeah. I'm not going to complain about Zombles, as they're called.
Yep. If you route this in the opposite direction and you do Ice Cave first in your grind, by the time you get here, you can happily just melee through these pretty swiftly, but we're going to burn up magic here, which we have, again, 31 ethers plus whatever we had gotten earlier, so we have a ton of magic power at this point.
Yeah, and usually running out of ethers is not a concern at this point. There they are. Soft potions are called gold needles in this version. The more I know. So that's the teleporter maze. You always pick the one that is furthest to the bottom of the screen.
Wait.
And we're just going to beat it.
It's not randomized?
No. This game is not even randomized. I like trying to take the nightmares, but that's not going well. So we're just gonna run.
Yeah, I'm so used to getting to this point and having like 5 hits on everybody and just trashing the nightmares, but they are decently evasive, so they avoid hits, and of course you'll see that as, you know, the one hit Stella for 100 hit points, they hit incredibly hard for this point in the game.
Got some mummies that we're just going to burn down with fire and holy light. And then run away from.
Yep, you got the Final Fantasy special.
There's our ruby armlet. There's our ice brand. Do a bit of quick. Put that in the wrong order. At this point, formation. Swap you out. And save. There's our sappy gloves, some extra money, and a cottage, which is also extra money. And now I'm going to beat up some dragon zombies. For one, I have to. For two, even if I didn't have to, I'd probably want to anyway. They're worth a decent chunk of golden experience. And for three, if I get really, really lucky, which, you know, this is a marathon, so I won't, they can drop a mega elixir, which basically means that I don't need to do a little bit later. It's a bit of a time save, but I didn't get it. And we're not going to worry about that and just head on out, pop a tent.
Can I have a moment to talk about what we're here for?
Go for it.
So this marathon is being organized by the RPG Valkyrie, an inclusive group of women and femme-leaning people who all love RPGs, love speedrunning, and we're looking to raise money to help assist us in going to RPG Limit Break. Two of us, myself and Sparkover, have a run at RPG Limit Break. We'll be running Dragon Warrior Randomizer. So, and RPG Limit Break itself supports NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental. I mentioned earlier that this has a very personal connection to me. NAMI has helped my family in times of need. And so thank you all for supporting us.
Yeah, and for now, I'm just sailing away, trying to get my butt over to the ice cave. Which we will only be seeing once tonight.
Ice Cave is also the answer to why does Damarine always want 2 emergency exits on our runs?
That's fair. Ooh, shoutouts to the shiny new pink Moobot text.
Also, shoutouts to the Garbage River encounter table here. Like, nothing here is... We want to fight nothing here if we can help it.
Yeah.
Everything has multiple melee hits. They will run through your armor like it's made of tissue paper. We hate it.
Shoutouts to Garbage. Here we are. I'm gonna pop a tent because I've just got all of the tents. And now we can just chill. You know, because Ice Cave.
Ice Cave is bad. Ice Cave is bad on many levels. Leggy will probably be saving after every 1 to 2 encounters here, especially on the lower floors. So encounters include Cossatresses, which of course can petrify your party, wide roving packs of the undead, which have paralysis touch and can paralyze your party. There are Frost Giants, which hit real hard and are unrunnable. There's Frost Wolves that cast an AoE ice damage effect that will rapidly tear through your party because they show up in groups of 3 and 4. There are Frost Dragons, which we're just going to reset out of them because they will kill us. And there are Sorcerers, who melee for 1 damage.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm super into not getting hit for you know that much damage.
You get hit for
But
1
one
damage.
damage isn't that much.
You get hit for 1 damage and then you die.
Wait, what?
Sorcerers are the source of the nasty Mind Blast, which, if you played the NES version, is Trance, which paralyzes your entire party. And they are the one enemy in the game with Death Touch.
Hey, there we go.
Which, as you can see, that White Mage is now just dead. Got hit for 3, but every hit that the Sorcerers pull out has a chance to kill the party member immediately. Oh, and there are also rarer encounters, also like the Dark Mages who have Fire 3. It's no big deal. The fighter may survive.
Yeah, and like, we got away. We have Phoenix Downs. It's fine. But, and you know, worst case, we just hit the reset button in this. Where this Ice Cave gets really terrifying is places where saving is expensive or difficult or impossible, such as, I don't know, PSP runs.
I mean, you can save anywhere you want in a PSP run. It's a lot of time to reload.
Not to mention that saving takes like 5 seconds. Hi, Dark Wizard. Thanks for the preemptive strike.
They're like baby Astoses, and we don't want to fight them. Because somehow they know more magic than Astos.
I mean, they are using the same sprite.
And they are not shy about breaking out the Firaga as their very first spell.
Mm-mm. I feel like he just got called out.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And so for those of you who are familiar with this game, Ice Cave is the source of the big grind, capital B, capital G, that we're going to be doing today.
It does take a little while, so we'll need to give Silverfire something to do, so we may need some donations at this point in time to to help the cause, to kind of help push the night along a little bit. Here's those Ice Gigases and Winter Wolves, by the way, that may do some damage here if they decide to actually break out the big guns, but they don't. Interestingly enough, they're being very friendly.
Yeah. Oh well, here's one gun. Which, is 30 damage to everyone. Now stack that up a couple times and that gets really spooky really fast. Save.
Yeah, as we're getting deep into Ice Cave here. Also, our friends the Pisco Demons are back. They're still unrunnable.
Yeah. It's the exact same encounter from earlier. They can also come in bigger packs, which are also unrunnable. Because why would you want to run from your friendly Pisco Demon friends?
They just want to hit you with those staves.
On the other hand, thank goodness, the sorcerers, or mind flayers as they're called in this version, are, in fact, runnable. So, when Death Touch comes a knockin', you can try to get away. Jeez.
It's fine. That's why you have Phoenix Downs.
Yes. Of course, the fun part is I still might save time on this split. Light River encounters can be so trash.
Alright, well, we've got the Levistone. That means we can go get an airship, so we can leave now. We're not going to be here for the next few minutes at all.
Yeah. So, Syl, I forget, what can people even donate for?
So, upcoming incentives. We have names for the upcoming game, Nino. The current donations for that are Mighty, Lemur, Sid, and Bogley. Each will be named Bowie, 100%, Busters, and I believe there's and High Spirits. There's also, you can choose the voiceover language, English or Japanese. There's currently no donations at all, so if you have a preference there for English or Japanese voices in that game, go ahead and donate. After that, we'll have Final Fantasy Tactics. You can name Ramza, the main character, and the two generic units that get heavily used throughout the run. And then Chrono Trigger. We can name all the main characters: Chrono, Luca, Marley, Frog, Robo, Ayla. I believe Magus does not make an appearance in the run due to when the any percent run finishes the game. All of those are wide open, except for Frog currently has a $250 donation for Buddy, but everything else $1.
So, what we're looking for is level 20, and then we're going to kill.
I mean,
Having a internet hiccup again.
I should be back.
Okay, you appear back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Apologies for that.
this is the time to have technical difficulties anyway. We are just going to be we're going to be hitting eyes for a few more minutes here.
Yeah.
By the time this run is over, the population of eyes in the world will be greatly diminished.
And at this point, I am trying to get Mog killed off. Yay! Yes. Sorry about that, y'all. I've been having weird internet connectivity issues recently. And yeah, that's all. That's about the extent of the explanation I got for y'all.
Yep. One of the interesting things that Leggy is doing here is that so that she does not need to input commands while she wants the Evil Eye to cast Thundara and do a bunch of damage to her party, is she's running away. But eyes are unrunnable, so everybody tries to run, they go through the animations, but nothing happens.
And we get to the point where we ether up because we heal up everyone who isn't dying.
And we're at the one point in the game where we're actually hoping for first turn. We're hoping for the first turn AoE magic, and of course, we don't get it.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Lich.
Shoutouts to Lich. Yeah, unfortunately, once I see two of the gazes, it's about time to start getting stabby again, because the third one is Stone Touch, and if that hits the fighter, that eye fight is going downhill very fast.
I mean, you've still got the Red Mage with the Flame Saber. The nice thing about this route is having both the Ice Sword and the Flame Saber makes this grind much safer.
Yeah. Oh, now you give me the round 1 Thundara. Thanks, I.
And of course, this grind will go until Stella is level 31. The levels on the fighter, of course, are great for damage output. The levels on Boko are great so that we have a Red Mage that actually has some hit points because, again, Red Mages seem to be allergic to gaining maximum hit points. But what we really care about is by the time we're done with Sea Shrine, Stella needs to be level 33.
And that level is important because in Onrak, the town where the Sea Shrine is located, there is the level 7 magic Hialaga, which is the whole reason we have a white mage in the party, basically.
It is an AoE healing spell that heals for around 250 hit points, which we absolutely, desperately must have to fight Chaos, unless we're sitting on 3 to 4 Mega Elixirs, which you get from doing the 15 puzzle, which we're not, so we are going to make this work, darn it.
Yeah.
So while we're still on this grinding, we have a couple little donations.
Nice.
From Scala, we have $6.69. Nice. And let's go for Maximum Anime and have Nino Kun. And then from Invulnerable, $20. My personal favorite Final Fantasy Tactics protagonist is the good old I Smell Awful Baloo.
Oh man, we're deep in Final Fantasy After Dark, aren't we?
Yes. Yes, we are. And so you'll notice now that we are up a few levels, my fighter can, more often than not, one-shot these eyes. Which means if they stop casting Thundara, this grind will go really nice.
I am the Eye. I will never stop going in. I will never stop casting Thundara.
It's the eye of the eye, it's the thrill of the fight.
Leggy, it's only like 11 o'clock for you. You can't be getting as delirious as I am at this point.
That wasn't delirious, that was just a song. I'm like this normally.
That's fair.
Pump a few more ethers into the white mage. Straight into the veins. Oh my god, Skull Kitty's in chat saying that a pixel version of the eyes emoji would be an amazing Frank-facey emote. And I have to agree, I would spam that everywhere.
I mean, we do have the eye emote in the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer Discord.
True.
I may use it a fair bit, I'm not gonna lie.
That's because you're a good person. That's how that works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you gotta have good taste in emotes. So we've got the Eye, the Lobster, and Queen Tiamat, who we love.
Not to mention, you know, like the Light Warriors. You know, but I'm sure they're not important.
Are any of the Light Warriors Dragon royalty?
I mean, have you asked?
I mean, I'm not in this particular party, so
Okay, so that's you know.
I can't argue with that one, honestly. I think, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that. When you were doing the randomizer draft, still didn't you draft yourself?
I did. I mean, we
Oh,
mostly
boy.
just like agreed on it.
You should have plenty of hit points to just fight through the white dragons here. It should be fine.
Yeah, no, it's just more of the, do I have notes on how best to take these out?
You stab
Answer,
them.
of course.
You
Answer,
stab.
of course, is...
You stab them and you use your gauntlets because your fighter and red mage actually have enough hits for us to actually be in good shape here.
Yeah.
You don't use fire?
No, they.
No, you one-shot them with your sword.
Yeah, we're like level 27 now. We're
Yeah. Yeah, there's 29 for Stella.
nice, almost there.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if you are at RPG Limit Break in May, I mean, you would get a chance to meet Dragon Royalty because Silverfire and Sparkover are running the Dragon Warrior randomizer there, and we are trying to get the Valkyries team to RPG Limit Break here with your donations. So thank you for all your help. And of course, unlike the NES version, you'll see that even with all these extra levels, that even the Thundaras are going down a little bit in damage. So, you know, things are getting much safer for grinding at this point as we get to the tail end of the push for level 31.
Well, Mog's fine. They're just taking a nap.
I mean, have you ever met a Moogle? There are 3 things that Moogles like doing.
Eating Kupo nuts?
Eating Kubo nuts, sleeping, and horrendous pranks.
Such as helping you save the game.
Delivering mail is just a prank.
Have you read some of those letters? They're definitely playing pranks on each other.
I mean, they're Moogles, it's what they do.
Oh, there is one other thing that Moogles do that is very, very good. Being generals in the Imperial Army.
That's not cool.
Shoutouts to General Kutan, the greatest soldier in Final Fantasy VI.
Cool. Stella's level 31. Mog has been asked to wake up and actually do something. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So Leggy's gonna go and pop her second emergency exit.
Yes, the second emergency exit that I totally haven't totally picked up. What are you talking about? But more importantly, Leggy's going to run down and pick up some extra chests because they contain that sweet, sweet cash money.
Money's still tight. We do have to do a couple of shopping trips that burn through, geez, roughly what, 200,000 gil?
Yeah.
Because we need to get, we need to buy 4 pro rings, 1 ruby armlet, 1 bottle containing a little bit of air and 1 fairy, some giant drinks and some speed drinks and some spells, and yeah, we need to have a little bit over 200,000. We need to have a little bit over 200,000 gil to make this happen, I believe.
Yeah. And these white dragons are just getting in my way.
They killed Mog again.
Yeah. I mean, that happens.
My god, 250,000 gil. Must be nice.
I know. Watch it all slip away. You know, just like my paycheck. Shoutouts to real life. But yeah, those pro rings are going to come in super, super handy as we're going to start seeing a little bit more in the way of death magic. That ruby armlet is going to be the second one we get, and those are going to be the end game armor for our red mages, because we are going to get some Pisco demons right as we try to get out the door.
Pisco demons, why?
Chat pointing out that reverse boss order is possible in FF1 because Lich is not a boss.
I mean, clearly it was missed what Lich did to your party today.
I mean, with how everything is going today, it is clear that Astos is the true final boss of this game.
Basically. Also, shoutouts to Moogles, the cutest mascot in Final Fantasy. Don't at me. Yeah, chat, also Blue Quark in chat pointing out that they really like the art in this remake. Yeah, the pixel art's really neat. It's really well done.
Yeah.
So where are we headed next? We got this rock.
Oh, yeah. Let's go throw it in the desert. That seems fun. Pick up some sand.
That makes absolutely no sense.
I mean, have you ever seen a plume of sand go ploof? It's pretty awesome. Here, let me show you. As soon as I get away from these ankegs. Onkegs? Onkegs? I have no idea.
They're peebs.
That sounds so much easier to say. Because what they're doing is impeding my progress. Thank you. I'll be here for the next 2 hours.
Well, let's not hope that you're going to be here for 2 hours.
Well, I mean, not on stream. And here comes the boat.
Yay, airship.
New.
Limitless power to go wherever we want.
Except forests. And swamps. And deserts.
But the airship's in a desert right now. Why can't it land in the desert?
Demarine, I appreciate you asking the real questions. So now we're back in Elfland for the last time. We're going to sell off some extra stuff that we have, such as this iron shield that we just do not need anymore. Chainmail, the steel gloves, and the worm killer.
Don't sell the gauntlets. We really need those. I've done that before. It's funny.
Yeah, you say funny. But now we're going to go pick up the most important spell in the game.
Blizzara?
Haste. Which, okay, arguably the second most important spell in the game for this route. But in every version of Final Fantasy I, Haste does one thing. It lets you hit twice as hard.
Yep. Haste is very, very, very much important to have because, you know, we need to amplify our damage to cut through lots and lots of hit points on bosses in the endgame.
Mm-hmm. Next, we're going to class change, which I don't know. That just seems mostly cosmetic at this point.
Well, it is, but it will unlock access to, well, two very important spells for this party.
Mm-hmm.
One being, again, like we had mentioned earlier, that level 7 magic Healaga for our White Mage. But it will also open up one piece of level 5 magic that our Red Mages could otherwise not buy, which is Teleport. And unsurprisingly, the ability to leave dungeons is kind of important.
And not only that, we're not even going to be leaving dungeons. We're going to be manipulating how we move through dungeons to maximize our use, because it takes us back to the staircase that we last walked up or down. So in some dungeons, like the Sea Shrine, this becomes important because it allows us to go up one side and come back down the other very, very quickly. Yeah, we're not going to Gaia just yet. We are actually going back to Melmond. Where we want to pop. Firaga. The teleport we just mentioned. And a whole slew of spells for our White Mage. And, for safety, we're going to put Kiraga on one of the Red Mages.
I mean, wait, what else do you have to buy at this point?
I have to fly to Crescent and dump as much of this money as possible into ethers.
Right, keeping around about 110,000 gil for armor.
Mm-hmm. And then a couple more Phoenix Downs just for safety.
Safety is very important.
Safety first. Gonna pop a tent. And now it's volcano time. So here is where we have the actually interesting movement in this game. As I run back upstairs I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, that happens on occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are going to try and stay on these red-hot lava tiles, because when you're on the lava tiles, you do not get encounters. And not getting encounters is good.
Mm-hmm.
They will drain out our hit points at a rate of 1 per step, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that's basically nothing at this point.
And also, let's face it, encounters drain our health a lot faster than that.
They're also slower, because you got to go get into the encounter, you've got to get out of the encounter, you've got to get annoyed by the encounter. These things take time.
You gotta complain to your commentator about the encounter, etc.
If ever you've seen Leggy or I practice GBA runs, all we do is complain about encounters.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Leggy Scream, my alter ego.
You don't get that terribly salty, though.
I don't. That's my alter ego's job. We were just establishing that. Also, thanks for good luck, Penguinator.
Penguinator's pretty great.
Yeah.
But of
Hey,
course,
I made it to carry before I accidentally saved into the third slot.
Nice. Well done. I keep my third save slot is where I keep my 15 puzzle practice save. So I really desperately try to not save over it, but I do anyway.
Yeah. So for me, while I was practicing, I loaded up my last run, which meant I just had to teleport my way out of the Temple of Fiends in order to practice the 15th puzzle.
Ouch. So you'll notice that Leggy did start off this fight by casting Haste on the fighter. The fighter's first swing did a mighty 130 damage.
Carries 1440.
And you will see that number go through the roof really quickly. Carrie, of course, leads off with a melee attack and then Fyra, but a spell that does about 100 hit points to everybody at this point is just not going to cut through this party. You're normally supposed to come here a lot earlier in the plot, but why would you do that when you can come back here with the power of an ice saber and lots and lots and lots of armor and damage?
And swing for over 1,000.
Alright, second crystal in the books now, so we are going to head up to the northern half of the world for a while.
Mm-hmm. As the Minotaurs do a last-ditch effort to prevent us from leaving now that we've lit the Crystal of Fire. Ineffective, mind, but valiant nonetheless.
Everything just wants to slow you down.
And again, fun little plot trigger here. Unlike in NES, where you have to actually open the bottle yourself, in this version, once you get to Gaia, the fairy just breaks free herself.
An absolutely unmatched level of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
But there we go. We drop 100,000 gold on armor here because we want that second ruby armlet, but more importantly, protect rings for everybody. Again, death protection, and they actually have a decent amount of armor on them as well for just being tiny rings.
Yeah, I mean, they're magic. Shout out to the tiny fairy for fetching us some oxy ale from the bottom of the pool. So up next, we're over on the continent where Onrak is situated. Onrak, of course, being the only town, I assume is the main ruling body of this area, question mark? They don't even have a castle. So it's unclear to me what exactly the political structure of this continent looks like.
Yeah, there are no castles in the north. I mean, it's a slightly more wild land, full of more powerful wildlife and pretty rivers, and a ginormous desert with a tower sticking out of it.
Well, to be fair, there is one castle in the north. We've already been there. But actually, I guess that makes me wonder, given that Onrak is the core town in this area and the Shrine of the Sea is where most of the town's magical mojo comes from. Maybe the castle was just underwater. Maybe they were ruled by the mermaids.
No, I think we all know the true royalty of the Northern Continent. It is, It is the noble lobster.
Noble is a bit of a stretch.
These wonderful, long misunderstood sea creatures just want to be your friend.
Uh-huh.
Rumor has it some of them have even taken up the light arts and attempt to heal their friends because, the hunting and overfishing of the seas in the north is terrible. And the lobsters are just trying to protect their friends.
Uh-huh. I don't buy into this lobster propaganda for a second. That's the power of Firaga.
Shoutouts to attack auto-targeting, but we're going to get the most important piece of armor in the game right now. We're going to get the first of 3 ribbons.
Yep, we're also going to get our endgame weapon. And an extra chest for no reason. Gotta give the people what they want, and what they want is more content.
I mean, what we're getting, though, is a cube.
The cube.
And then we're going to use teleport magic just to leave here and not actually have to walk back out through whatever number of encounters we might have run into, which is great.
Yeah. Teleport. Such a useful spell. Yeah. I don't actually remember because it was literally 2 days ago, and that's way further back than my memory extends. But the Defense Sword is one of the most sought-after items in the NES version, and the randomizer. It allows the user to cast the Ruse spell, which increases their evasion significantly, and allows them to tank some of the nasty, nasty physical hits that one often encounters in the randomizer. Here, now we're just going to be hitting things with it.
I mean, we will get up to 6 hits with this weapon, unlike 5 with the ice sword, and it's got a higher base damage. So we are gonna go in with this defense sword on the rest of the game.
Yeah.
There are a couple of better swords in the game, but they take more time than they're worth. One of them being the Excalibur, which requires that we grab an item out of the Sky Cave and bring it to the dwarves. And then there's the Masamune, which, it's in Temple of Fiends. It's before the last of the 4 Fiends. It is completely not worth getting, sadly.
Yeah. And as I go through this sea cave, because, all the crystals are in caves. Where else do you get crystals? I'm going to be taking some extra encounters. As we mentioned earlier, we want our white mage to hit 33. When I left my grind, they were 31. Right now, they're 32. So I've still got a bit of experience to gain on my way through this dungeon. Luckily, there's a couple of unrunnable encounters which are pretty nice to take. These ghosts, unrunnable. We'll also run into water elementals, which are, again, unrunnable. And we might run into the infamous large pack of Sahagins.
Which are worth garbage for experience, sadly, but they're also unrunnable.
Mm-hmm. What isn't worth garbage for experience are these sharks.
Yep. So our run through the sea cave is just going to be us reducing the shark population in the seas around Unrack, which will help the people. They will love us forever.
Yeah, but how will the lobsters feel?
The lobsters will hate us and try to kill us.
But, you know, that was going to be the end state of that anyway, so, you know, no big loss. And here's that Sahagin fight I mentioned.
I mean, Leggy, you do have to answer the most important question in Final Fantasy speedrunning.
Would you like to get in the barrel? Because I answered that one.
That's like the fourth most important one.
Okay, what is the most important one?
Why do the monsters keep increasing?
Because the fiends are growing in strength as we move forward.
That's fair.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's the lore reason for that. So we pick up the Diamond Armlet, which is the best mage armor money can't buy.
But it's even better than the Ruby Armlet that we've got for everybody, so we'll be able to upgrade our White Mage to, you know, get a little bit more, squeeze out just a little bit more defense. And then the other Ruby Armlet will go to the other Red Mage.
And now we teleport back down 2 floors.
With our Rosetta Stone in hand.
Thank goodness. That would be a fun time loss to have to deal with. And by fun, I mean horrifying.
I mean, that one's not bad. There's no encounters involved. Just wait. You'll teleport out of Waterfall Cave without the cube one day.
Worse, I'll pop the E exit early.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is one of the important things to look out for on Final Fantasy 1 runs, is that some days you forget to grab things, or you forget to talk to Dr. Uni, and you show up in Lefane, and all they're saying is Lupa, 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 and you're like, I have no idea what you're saying now.
Yep. We do have enough armor and levels to deal with these majestic, they call them sea scorpions, but let's be real, they're lobsters.
Yeah, the scorpions are the true lobsters of the land.
And of course, talking about shopping, shoutouts to Invenerable for not losing his run tonight by selling Micron.
And now we're going to go pick up the single most important item in the game. Demarine, do you want to care to explain this one?
Yeah, so the item that we're going to pick up are the Giant's Gloves, used to be known as the Power Gauntlet in FF1 NES.
Which was such a bad name they had to change it.
Yeah, no, the Giant's Gloves are way cooler. because they give you literally the strength of a giant. They increase your damage and hit rate on the user. So we're going to use this to basically to speed up the buffing process on the bosses from here on out. Basically, the fighter's gonna help out their own cause by buffing themselves a little bit, while the haste and the first temper go off, so that essentially it's about 1.5 tempers on its own, if I remember correctly. It might be 2, but it's about 1.5, I think. But we're going to be able to use that to quickly ramp up our damage and not have to deal with that first swing that isn't going to do anything anyways. So we are going to use
once we get into the final boss rush, we're going to stack it a couple of times. Also picking up a second ribbon.
Yep, ribbons give massive amounts of useful resistances. They give you resistance to every magic type, which also means that instant death spells don't hit you of basically any flavor. Damage spells are greatly reduced in their efficacy, which keeps your party alive longer. They do basically a little bit of everything.
That said, ribbons do have exactly one downside. Well, actually, no, there's 2 downsides. The first and minor downside is that they don't provide very much physical defense. The more important downside to ribbons is that there's only 3.
Poor Mog's gonna die again. I mean, not gonna get a ribbon. But yeah.
No, those are effectively the same thing after a certain point in this game.
This is very true. So yeah, there's only 3 in the entire game, but we're gonna get the third one in a little bit as well.
I have enough of a grind taken care of, but this encounter is just worth so much XP.
Is it the big eye?
Yeah.
Like when we're diving Sea Shrine, this is like the encounter that we're looking for, because deep eyes are worth just so much experience.
So here's the Giant's Gloves. I'm going to need to do some inventory management in a little bit, just to make sure that make the menuing a little bit easier. Penguinator in chat. What is your favorite kind of gauntlet? Hello, Inven. And why is it Fabul?
Alright, but you can see that we're going to fire off that Giant's Glove to start this fight off to go with the Temper and the Haste. And we're going to cast Healara, because even though Kraken's AoE effects are not very, very scary, honestly, there's the scary part right there. 8 hits for 245 damage right on the White Mage, because, it's Kraken. It doesn't matter what version of Kraken it is.
Petition for game mod to wear the Fabul gauntlet.
And as you can see those buffs just amplifying rapidly. The swing for 1600 is real close enough to one-shotting Kraken.
Yeah, Kraken here has 1800 health.
Yeah, so the one swing before and then the one massive second swing is going to be more than enough to get us through that without any mishaps at all.
Also, while I'm at it, that was a 25-second gold split for all of Sea Shrine.
What a waste.
I mean, my golds are getting down there.
Yeah, no, your sum of best is under 230, which is, it's the great siren song of Final Fantasy 1 speedrunning, is that like the randomness strikes at random points, and so you look at your sum of best at like I've got like not a ton of runs of this under my belt, and I know my sum of best is under 240 at this point. I just look at that and go, yeah, that'll never happen.
Wait, so you're saying the randomness is random?
Yes.
Okay, let's move a few things around. Pick you up. Pick you up. Cool, that should do it.
Hang on, Leggy. I'm gonna have to look at this afterwards because I was paying attention briefly, but I'm a little bit confused by it. It looked like it said that you don't need to promote to buy Hilana.
Huh. Yeah, that looked about right. You get Healaga in the Black Mage route, and that doesn't promote.
Huh.
So I guess promotion is purely for teleport.
Yeah.
And the defense sword.
And the defense sword, which is really important, honestly, because fighting off the fiends with the ice sword is terrible, and going to get the sun sword is honestly also terrible.
Yeah. How does encounter RNG work in this game? That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure.
Yep. Sadly, my knowledge of it is you walk around and you get encountered.
I
But
can
I
say for
believe-
sure that it's not a step counter.
Yeah. I think it's just frame-based. Also, shoutouts to Demarine for being the one to tell me to just freaking buy the Knight's armor. Rather than trying to hunt down the diamond armor in Sea Shrine.
Yeah, the diamond armor does give a little bit more of absorption, but the steel armor is more than enough with the ice shield and the protect ring. So
Yeah.
And you're going to be in Melman to translate the slab anyway, so you take the 6 seconds to sell whatever little bit of stuff you need to sell to make 36 grand, and then just buy the steel armor instead.
Yeah, heck, in my
the
PB, I didn't get either of those, so...
You are a braver woman than I.
No, I'm a forgetful woman who got lucky.
In all honesty, we take those.
I mean, I don't disagree. And now we're going through the other side of the Peninsula of Power, to the town of Lefane, which I learned how to speak their language, so maybe they'll have something cool for me. So the Mirage Tower is straightforward and isn't very exciting. So for now, Sil, if you have anything you'd like to share with our lovely viewers, now would be a great time to do some of that.
Well, while I don't have any new donations, I'd like to, just thank everyone for showing up. The money that we're raising tonight is to help the Valkyries get to RPG Limit Break. And if we do reach this goal of 5,000, at that point, we pretty much will have all of our trips covered, and any additional money we're going to be donating to charity. Like our subscriptions on this channel, it'll be going to the charity Take This, which is a mental health charity that provides resources and for the gaming community. They provide AFK rooms at conventions to allow individuals to have a quiet place at a busy convention to regain their calm. And we love to support mental health on this channel in general. RPG Limit Break itself supports the charity NAMI, National on Mental Illness. And let's see, some upcoming things that you can donate for. We've got character names in Ni no Kuni and Final Fantasy Tactics and Chrono Trigger. You can donate for which additional character gets brought in the Lufia 2 Ancient Cave run. There's a special Marley soft glitch that can get shown off in the Chrono Trigger run. Let's see what else is coming up. It looks like our goal for... there's a goal in Final Fantasy Legend 1 later on to see the everything is melting %, which is a extremely fast glitched category where you move so fast that the game fails to render the graphics correctly, and thus it looks like everything is melting.
Oh gosh, that sounds incredible.
There's also some donation goals for the game Crosscode to fight Apollo, which is optional, and complete the optional Vermilion dungeon. So if you're not interested in naming characters, then those are options for you can see all of our incentives on the link that Moobot just posted.
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni is the next run. So that's coming up right after this one.
Yeah, Crosscode's a really neat, really recent action RPG that came out, and I am super excited for that run because I know my casual playthrough took like forever. So, seeing people play that game very quickly is really entertaining.
And so, one of the things you'll notice is that I sat through that bird ambush, which sucked, but that was because I hadn't saved in way too long, and it was just going to be faster to sit there and take it. So in the meantime, we're just going to keep on climbing this tower. Nothing really exciting to worry about. There's a whole bunch of really, really shiny treasures that you can pick up, but they're just kind of obnoxiously out of the way for us at this point. For instance, the aforementioned Sun Sword is in the treasure chest on this floor, but that's just too many steps. And then if you want to do like a weird teleport manipulation to try and get in and get back. The staircase we came from is way far away, so it is just not worth it, unfortunately. We will be stopping off on the second floor of the Sky Palace to pick up our final ribbon, as well as a upgraded shield for the night. And that ribbon will be going on our night. Unfortunately, Mog is both underleveled and fell asleep on the job for grinding, and only winners get ribbons. And as we're going, you'll notice I'm taking a few fights, trying to run away from others, and winding up having to take them anyway. At this point, I don't necessarily need any more levels, but any levels I do get will help make the Chaos fight a little bit safer and a little bit faster. Now, as it turns out, up here in the Sky Cave, which is probably my vote for best cave, because there is only one unrunnable encounter up here. And that is those evil eyes we were grinding on earlier. At this point, if you thought they were going down easy in the ice cave, well, it is amusing to see what happens to them with our party now. Yeah, luckily for us, the only two items we need in this dungeon, the last two items we're going to be picking up in this... Now, we'll be grabbing one more treasure chest a little bit later. Oh, sorry, that was a lie. Are right next to each other, so that's super convenient for us. And here's the fourth floor. Luckily for us, there's no war mech we have to worry about here. But because this is a vanilla version of Final Fantasy I, you know what that means, chat. Get those Bless RNGs out now if you want me to see my very first robot in this game. We've got one run to hunt down a war mech, so Get them ready now. Air elementals are not Warmech. Our attack pattern on Tiamat is going to look very similar to what we used against Kraken, with one exception. The White Mage is going to be casting a slightly stronger healing spell. Tiamat here, with her 2,400 hit points. Why did I cast? Tiamat's 2,400 hit points are 400 more health than Chaos has in the original NES version of this game, which kind of shows you how they had to rebalance things a little bit now that things like buffs work, and we moved to an MP system, and you get extra hits on your all of your light warriors about twice as fast. And at this point, there is only one thing left on our bucket list. We've defeated the 4 fiends, but the time loop is still open. All we have left to do is hunt down Chaos. It is time for the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Dun dun dun.
As a pair of Gygus worms try to stop us outside of the entrance. That's cute. I'm gonna pop a cottage. If you talk to these 5 bats, you'll actually find out they are the Sky Warriors that the Lefanians mentioned, who they sent to defeat the primal evils that lurk within here. And, clearly failed. Yeah, the Sky Warriors, from Sky Cave. So at this point,
Isn't there an item that we might have gotten a little while ago that might come in handy here?
Hello?
Yep, sorry, you're back in here.
Yay! Hi, so how much of that did y'all hear?
I haven't heard anything since just before the Death Eye fight.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so that chest we opened was the one we could skip if we got the Mega Elixir drop off the zombie Ds. And other than that, nothing really exciting to say outside of making jokes about the power of rock. And that's that Mega Elixir drop I was mentioning. I always love getting it at this point in the game. I will be using that Mega Elixir over the regular Elixir anyway, because it allows us to let the White Mage do a total party heal. Basically, instead of casting Healaga for a turn, they'll just refresh everyone's MP and HP, which effectively is what that HP part is effectively why we're casting Healaga to begin with. Isn't that always the case, Scala? But I appreciate everyone dealing with all of the wild technical difficulties that I seem to be providing today. And at this point, I'm just going to dive into sentimental Starscream time. First of all, I do want to thank the RPG Valkyries for giving me the opportunity to play this today. It means a lot to me. This is my first solo run in any marathon ever, and I'm really having a blast here. Shoutouts to all of the RPG Valkyries individually. I don't have the list of everyone memorized, and I don't want to start rambling because I'm totally going to forget someone. So just pretend I said your name here. Each and every one of you. I think at this point I follow most of your streams, and if anyone in chat isn't following any of them, you should definitely fix that right now. And as soon as this runs over, I'm going to make sure I don't have to fix that myself. Shoutouts to Demery, my co-commentator, who unfortunately had to step away to deal with something real fast and may or may not be back. But Demery is kind of an inspiration for me in terms of her skill as a runner and as a commentator and host for these sorts of events in both regular speed running and in the randomizer communities that she's a part of and that I've recently joined. And then shoutouts to everyone in chat, every single one of you, for coming out here, supporting a good cause, and hanging out. So here we have Lich. Lich has nuke. We'll
At no
probably
point in the game does Lich cast spells that are not just.
Luckily for us at this point, we're beefy enough that Flare, despite Ribbons not helping against the non-elemental damage, doesn't even kill anyone. And we can heal off most of the damage with a heal aura. No, sorry, heal aura. For all of these Fiend refights, we're going to be doing 2 rounds of buffs before we get started on swinging our sword, because it's just not worth it. They have enough health that it makes sense to do that extra round of buffing. Lich has 2800 HP, which means that this next swing should kill. Oh, hey, we found some fire lizards. Quick, everyone. We need our Agama facts. Sil, do you know any Agama facts?
Agama facts. Here's the classic Agama fact, is that Agamas are the standard unit of experience in a Final Fantasy game. All other experience is measured against Agama.
That's true.
Agama facts. Agamas don't actually like fire very much. They find it actually kind of inconvenient, but that's why they hide in small rooms in the vault to being out in the lava. You'll never encounter an Agama while you're
Agama fact. Agamas are a distant cousin of the noble lobster, and are the real reason the lobsters want revenge. So every single one of these fiend fights is going to follow the exact same combat script on our end. We're going to do 2 rounds of buffs, and then just keep buffing while we smack down the fiend. When we get to Chaos, we'll have to do a bit more interesting things. But that's just because Chaos is a very special boy. In the meantime, I'm going to ether up now, because as you might have noticed, each one of these floors down here in the Temple of Fiends is based off of one of the elemental dungeons, and contains encounters from and themed on that element. Water floor sucks. It's long, and it contains things like these water elementals, which are unrunnable. Agama fact. Agamas are a type of flightless giraffe. Agama fact. Though primarily meat eaters, their diet is primarily bran muffins. Agama fact. Agamas have an extraordinarily high metabolism. This is why they always have room for a second piece of pie. Agama fact. Agamas identify each other by the smell of their shampoo. I didn't even know Agamas needed shampoo. The more you know. Agama fact. The largest Agama in a group is known as a grand piano. Agama fact. Agama is the only natural predator of Warmech. And here's Kraken. And Kraken hugs the white mage, because that's how Kraken do. At this point, I'm going to play it safe, and we're going to take one red mage off buffing to make sure that white mage gets healed. Not that I need it at this turn because of the ink. Thank you, Kraken, for the eye drops, which will be used to cure the blindness you inflicted, except that it went away at the end of battle.
At least darkness actually does something in this version. Oh,
I mean, kind of, but not enough that it's worth it, and also the ribbons help.
but what about poor Mog? What about poor Mog?
Yeah, what about poor Mog indeed? I mean, it's not like poor Mog needs to be able to see in order to buff the knight. Just follow the sound of clanking armor. Ugh. Tiamat going for the balanced breakfast of White Mage. I mean, to be fair, it is a nice change of pace from the NES version where Kraken 2 is often the real gatekeeper of this game. Shoutouts to everyone who's ever lived in fear of Kraken 2 hugs.
It's a pretty big gatekeeper in the vanilla NES as well.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going for the World Record Party, which has
So there,
a solo black or a solo knight with the other two party members stoned.
yeah.
And you're just hoping you get those defense sword charges before Kraken hugs you too much.
Mm-hmm. And so one more round should do it against Tiamat here. Amazingly, everyone lived through this fight for a change. I mean, to be fair, he got almost... He has an order of magnitude more health than he does in the NES version.
This is true. We do have one more donation.
Ooh.
From Blue Cork, $15. Thanks for the run, like. Blue Cork, if you want to have that donation put towards any incentive, let me know. You can just DM me or say in chat. Take a quick look at our incentive sheet there.
Yeah, thank you so much for the donation. Okay, so we're going to ether everyone up. We're going to put that White Mage in front. And then in our item pool, we're going to throw the Mega Elixir on top. We're going to save one final time. And let's pull the Chaos Mob. So here's where the script gets a little exciting. Because you remember those Giants tonics and speed drinks we bought a while back? This is where they come into play. Giants tonics, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this particular game, can be used to give a party member an extra 200 hit points for this fight only. The speed drink gives a party member a buff to their speed stat. And other than that, we're going to be doing some pretty normal stuff. But first things first, we need to get some buffs up on everyone's stat. We want our party members to have a nice big health buffer. So we're going to use a couple of Giants tonics on everyone. Yeah, we're good enough there. And it is not an issue if Mog dies. It's faster if Mog stays alive, of course, but this route has the strats routed such that whether Mog stays up or down, it does not matter. Well, there are our Giant's tonics. You start throwing speed. You start stacking temper charges. You keep using Giant's gloves. We're going to go for 3 more rounds of buffs before we start swinging. Chaos here has 20,000 hit points. So if you hear me counting, it's in thousands. Okay, Slowra is Chaos's second spell. Following that is Thundaga, and following that is Kiraja, which will heal Chaos for 9,999 hit points. Notably, that is less than 20,000, so it's not a total heal, which is super useful in this case. Yep, and as Nikki points out, after Kiraja is Hate, which works just as well for Chaos as it does for us. But we're at 5,000 damage. Wow. This fight might end with every single party member standing, which would be incredible.
That donation that Blue Cork donated to is for a run that's on Saturday, the Fantasy Star run. All dungeons will require 100 now, 15 out of that 100.
Yeah. I'm really used to this fight being this chaotic scramble just to keep everyone up with a 3-person party. This is just kind of chill. Like, I'm just laying back here doing 28 hits, no big deal. I'm gonna throw my Mega Elixir with no one in... Oh, time.
Chaos never got around to that Kiraja.
And I never even had to throw my Elixir. We killed Chaos before my White Mage ran out of MP. Thank you all so much for the GGs. And I suppose while we let credits play and start getting things set up for the next run, I do want to say one more quick thing. You may have noticed that over the course of this marathon, specifically twice, I was donating for the name Stella to show up. I, about a month ago, finally picked that out as my name, and it's been really, really good. And thank you all so much for the opportunity to turn this into a little bit of a coming out thing.
Oh, I actually didn't know that what that was for. Thank you. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. And this was Final Fantasy 1 GBA. Underestimate. Oh.